We call to order the West Valley City Council meeting and welcome all in attendance. Let the roll call show that all members of the council are present this evening. And tonight's opening ceremony will be done by Council Member Corey Rushton. Council?
Thank you, Mayor. As Jake is lowering the screens, my first council meeting, a few years ago, I brought this clip in to set the opening ceremony. And my first one might have been my best one, as I've gotten more comments on this than about anybody. So I figured it's about time to bring it back and introduce a Pledge of Allegiance for you. But I've great job by our park staff as well as the county parks staff this year as I've been down to baseball games in our community, and just nothing says American City like the crack of the bat and kids running around bases in your community. And so thought I'd bring a little baseball clip, and then I said it's going to have Jake play the first minute or two of it, and then we'll cut it off and I'll ask the audience to rise, and it should be a good setup for us to recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, and wait a minute, there's an animal loose.
30 years later, I could not tell you immediately what was on my mind, except what they were doing was wrong. As far as I'm concerned, it was wrong in 1976. It's wrong today, what they were trying to do. The first match was struck, and as it was put to the flag, the wind blew it out. And I'm still running at them. The second match is ignited, and one of them starts to put the match to the flag at the same time I got there. I do know that I thought about maybe bowling them over, but now I can get the flag before maybe the match could get there. So I reached down, picked it up, still on the run. And the first thing that came to mind, you could smell the lighter fluid. That's how much they doused it. And it was soaking wet. You could feel the coldness of this lighter fluid. They said, well, is it on fire? Well, obviously it was not on fire. Thank goodness it was not on fire.
People don't know this, but he beat me to the flag. I was coaching third base at that time. And I saw Rick Money start running from center field over to left. I didn't know what it was, but as soon as I saw him stop, I took off and I ran out there.
Tommy Lasorda, remember, was the third base coach at the time for the Dodgers. It was the year before he became the manager, the year before I came to the Dodgers. Tommy ran past me yelling about every expletive a longshoreman has ever uttered and trying to give to the guys. I gave the flag to Doug Rao, who's the left-handed pitcher for the Dodgers, who came out of their third base dugout, and I gave him the flag. I turned around, the guys are being escorted off the field by members of the security team, and also Duke, the head groundskeeper, was with them too. And he had one of them by the arm, and they escorted him off the field. And it was a very quiet moment. There was a smattering of applause as they got these two guys off the field. Then it got quiet again.
Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Rushton. We do honor our flag and the republic for which it stands. Thank you for that opening ceremony. We come to item 5 tonight, which is the approval of our minutes. We have the June 11th minutes for your consideration, Council. Any motions or discussion there?
Move for approval of the June 11th meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. We have a special presentation tonight for our English Achievement Awards. Throughout the year, we enjoy, and it is our honor to recognize people in our community who have stepped up and invested their time to complete an English course. And mastering a foreign language, especially one as complicated as English, doesn't happen in one course. It happens in a number of courses. But we applaud people who in our community who completed a course and who invest their time there. And we want to publicly recognize them throughout the year like we do today with an English Achievement Award. For those who are here to receive the English Achievement Award tonight, could they please stand? Okay. We'll stall for a moment. She's getting just a couple more. This program was started, Councilmember Steve Bueller had the idea, I believe a couple of years back, to recognize people in our community who learn English. And we realized when our ancestors came to these shores, one of the things they did to improve the lot of their family and achieve better employment was learn English. And in this English language initiative, we encourage people to learn multiple languages. And it's important in this global age that we speak different languages. But in the United States of America, a tradition for over 200 years, it's been English that binds us together, and studies show that immigrants who learn English tend to get better jobs, and children do better in school, and they have a more successful shot at the American dream. So we welcome these good people with us who have completed an English class. What we'd like to do is to invite you to come up one by one, and in the microphone, state your name and what country you're from. And then we'd like to shake your hand. Yep, all of us. It is our honor as a mayor and council to shake your hand and congratulate you. And then afterwards, we have let's see, are we doing pictures today, Jason?
I'm not sure.
I don't see our photographer. Sometimes we do. After you shake hands, in the lobby is where your certificate will be on some tables out there, and your teacher can help you get those. So if you want to come up one by one and tell us your name and what country you're from, and then shake our hands, please.
Well, thank you for inviting me today. And my name is Victor Flores. I'm from Chile. I lived in the United States around a lot of years. I don't know how much. I love this country. Freedom, it's good. Well, any other question?
That's all. Short and
That's
sweet.
it.
Thank you,
Okay.
Victor.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Victor.
Next.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Muchoko Omutombo Banga. I am from Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, in Africa. I have 1 year here.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Rosa Radilla. I'm from Mexico City. I lived maybe almost 10 years in United States.
Next.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. But my name is Elizabeth Ramirez Villa. I'm from El Salvador. I was in Los Angeles, California, and I moved here in 2010. I'm so happy to go to the school. Thank you for the teacher for inviting me.
Hello, my name is Juana Laureano. I live in this country 3 years. I'm from Peru. I'm so very happy today.
Next. We good? Oh, one more in the back.
Hello, my name Huyen, Huyen. I came from Vietnam, and I have been here 18 months. I love to learn English. Yeah.
These two are married, so this is a special. Is that everybody today? Thank you. Well, let's give your instructor a round of applause. We appreciate the many good places around our community that teach English. And you know, I've been counting how many countries since we've been doing this. And we've had now over 25 people from over 25 different countries come to our council meetings who have been learning English. Just tonight we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different countries from 4 different continents coming to West Valley City, coming to this area, learning English and looking out for improving their families and their lives and chasing the American dream. And we welcome you, we congratulate you, we encourage you to continue to learn English. And know that here in the United States of America, America is, of course, our first loyalty, but we all came from somewhere. And I hope you treasure your heritage, celebrate your culture, and pass that on to your family and descendants too, because it's a wonderful world we live in with lots of good people, and we're fortunate to all meet one another and make lots of new friends here in West Valley City. So thank you again so much for coming, and congratulations on being recipients tonight of our an English Language Recognition Award. Thanks again. And because we think so much of you, you don't have to stay for the long meeting, unless you want to. I neglected on special recognitions, item 4. We do this as tradition. Once we're in election season, we have candidates who have filed for office, and in addition to some of the candidates up here on the dais, we want to welcome Mr. Lars Nordfeldt and Mr. Phil Conder, who are both candidates for City Council at-large seats, and we appreciate their interest in the democratic process and for attending today. Item We have one more English award we'd like to give. And we invite you to come to the microphone and tell us your name and what country you're from. Welcome.
Hi, I'm sorry. I can't name. My name is Maritza Lemus. I'm from Guatemala.
Welcome. We'd like to shake your hand. We come to item 7 tonight, which is our comment period, and we didn't have anyone sign up to speak, although we do have a future city councilman here in front who would like to say something. He saw his dad up here. Want to say hi? It's good. Mr. City Manager, any comments you have today?
I have none, sir. Thank you.
Okay, fellow council members, any comments any of you have?
I do, Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
They're all gone now, but I always enjoy when the English learners come. And as the one woman today said that she moved here from Los Angeles, I thought, I bet the mayor of Los Angeles doesn't recognize everybody in his city that takes an English class. And glad that we're a large enough city to have a lot of good neighbors from all around the world, and small enough that we can recognize them individually.
Good, well said. Any other council members like to comment in our comment period tonight? Okay, then we'll come to item 8. Tonight we'll be having a public hearing regarding Z-2-2013. This is the one related to Ordinance 1327. Mr. Pyle, if you could please introduce this item.
You bet. Thank you, sir. So we have before us a proposal for a zone change from R4, which is a residential multifamily zoning, to RM, which is also a multifamily residential, is a little different density. The address for this zone change proposal is 4207 and 4209 West and 3550 South here in the city. This application was originally initiated by city staff, and it was in response to some concerns and some requests that were made by the neighbors in the area, and originally was a zone change proposal from R4 to R18, which would have been a single-family residential application. That process went before the Planning Commission, which then made a recommendation to change that to the RM zone.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open the public hearing regarding Ordinance 13-27. Is there anyone who's come to speak on this matter tonight? Okay, seeing no one, I close the public hearing and turn it over to the council for their discretion. Council?
I would move for approval of ordinance 13-27.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion to that item?
Mayor, I'd just like to make a few comments in regards to the zone change. I typically like to see zone changes come as a request from the landowner and not as a result of the city initiating those changes. And in reading over the Planning Commission minutes, the property owners had basically purchased this property as an investment for the future, and with the idea that with the zone that it was, that they could build there and use that as a potential way to retire and take care of their family needs. And so I'm a little bit I feel like when the property owner doesn't ask for the zone change, that perhaps the city probably should not initiate these zone changes. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Okay, thank you. Are there other comments on this item?
I guess I wonder on that point if there is a response staff just kind of on the process of the city initiates as a common occurrence. I mean, what's kind of the benchmark for the city to undertake the process?
It's not a very common occurrence. That's correct, council member, or councilman. But on occasion, we do have situations that arise that quite often, I shouldn't say quite often, but when they do arise, often are as a result of some extenuating or special circumstance. This one, for example, there are competing, I shouldn't say competing, but differing zonings that all sort of aggregate or congregate right there at that particular spot. For example, there's some R18 to the west and south, and there's R4 to the north and east. So you can see where sometimes these situations arise where you have a little bit of a conflict from public perception or neighborhood perception of what's going to go on or what will happen from a development standpoint. And a lot of times these are simply efforts by the staff to forestall problems within those neighborhoods.
Okay, other questions or comments on this one? I personally voted often in the past with the comment of, I think of John Locke, life, liberty, and property, before Jefferson made the creative change to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, as we see it in the Declaration of Independence here. And I'm touched by the letter from the applicant, or not the applicant, but I almost want to say the defense in this case, that says, people who buy homes or other real estate should be able to have a reasonable expectation of trust in zoning assigned to the property. These are the largest, most important financial decisions of their lives. Any person buying should be able to look at the surrounding area, be able to trust the zoning, and thereby be able to reasonably predict future development in the area and base these important decisions accordingly. And as I think of the value of property in the tradition of American freedom, I'm inclined to vote against this, because I do believe that if someone buys property at a certain zoning, have it be downgraded not at their request is a bit of a taking, in essence. But that's one person's opinion. Other thoughts? Okay, or a vote. Let's do a roll call vote on this one, please. Ms. McKendrick?
Mr. Vincent?
No.
Mrs. Lang?
Aye.
Mr. Bueller?
No.
Mr. Hume?
Yes.
Mr. Rushton?
Nay.
Mr. Christensen?
Nay.
Mayor Winder?
Nay. Looks like the nays have it on this one, and it does not pass. And that, of course, doesn't preclude staff or the Planning Commission from working with property owners to come up with other reasonable ways to address some of the concerns that were brought up, because there is some legitimacy to a number of those concerns. Let's look at another second public hearing. This one's ZT-4-2013 regarding Ordinance 1328.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance would amend a commercial overlay zone. This is in the vicinity of the Maverick Center, between the Maverick Center, between I-215 and approximately 2080 West and 35th South, roughly to the power corridor north of 3100 South, if everybody can picture that. The commercial overlay zone there was originally adopted to influence the style, the aesthetic, the quality of the development that occurred there in the area, and that largely has happened since that time, and conditions have changed there that would call for, or at least make it prudent to consider changes to that overlay zone. So the updated purpose, or the proposed minutes would update the purpose. They changed the name, so there's some language and housekeeping kinds of work that's associated with the overlay zone. Remove standards that are vague or too vague to administer, reorganize those. Anyway, just to basically update the ordinance. It's not removing it, but mostly clarifying.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open the public hearing regarding Ordinance 13-28. Is there anyone who's come to speak on this matter tonight? Seeing none, I close the public hearing and turn it over to the council for their discretion.
Mayor, I'd move approval of Ordinance 1328.
Second.
Okay, thank you both. Any discussion of this motion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of approving 1328, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that one passes unanimously. 4 resolutions to consider tonight. Mr. Pyle, 1388, please.
Thank you, sir. This first resolution, if approved, would allow for the purchase of a new street sweeper for the city.
Thank you. Council, what's your pleasure here?
Motion to approve resolution 13-88.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion of that motion? Okay, all in favor of approving 1388, say aye.
Aye.
That appears to be unanimous. 1389, please, Mr. Pyle.
Thank you, sir. We have the need for a storage facility to be constructed out of Fire Station 73 for the purpose of storing apparatus in. We currently have a second line and other equipment for the fire department that is stored outside due to lack of space. This resolution would award a construction contract to Arnell West to provide that storage facility project at Fire Station 73.
Okay, thank you. Council, any motions on this one?
Just like to say that I'm happy to put a roof over our equipment, and with that I'd move for approval of this ordinance.
Second.
Or this resolution.
Okay, thank you both. And I'll add to Mr. Bueller's comments, as we discussed in our study meeting last week, this is a way to give the best bang for the buck for those scarce resources and helping to protect those fire resources. Any further comments on this motion? Okay, all in favor of approving 1389, say aye.
Aye.
That also appears unanimous. Mr. Pyle, 1390, please.
Thank you, sir. This resolution was brought forward to the council this week and was considered in the council or the study meeting previous to this meeting, and so therefore has moved forward on that track a little faster than normal. We're proposing to purchase a new mower for the Parks and Recreation Department. There are 3 of this size and type that they use throughout the city. It's very large, very complicated. This one's particularly old, and so the reason for the speed of bringing it to you is so that we can actually get out there and rotate around in a timely manner, be able to mow the lawns. This particular one is, as I mentioned, is 23 years old.
Okay, thank you. Council, any motions on 1390?
Mayor, move for approval of resolution 1390.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We did discuss this in some detail in our study meeting earlier today. Any comments on this? Okay, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
That also passes unanimously. Mr. Pyle, 1391, please.
Thank you, sir. This resolution would allow us to authorize or execute a number of agreements with Workers' Compensation Fund. We are proposing to move away from the self-funded workers' compensation model that we've used for a number of years and administered through another company, Pinnacle, and to move to Workers' Compensation Fund. We feel this is a prudent thing to do in that it will better address and better protect us from a liability standpoint and a stability standpoint of those premiums and costs going into the future.
Okay, thank you. Council, what's your pleasure on this one?
Move for approval of resolution 1391.
Second.
Okay, thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion here? Okay, we appreciate the staff looking at our needs as a growing city and ways to best protect our and manage our risk. All in favor of 1391, say aye.
Aye.
That also is unanimous. We have 3 items of new business tonight, please. Mr. Pyle, introduce S7 2013.
Thanks, sir. I'm borrowing Sherry's agenda here. My program went offline there for a second. See if it comes back here in a quick second. But the first item is a final plat approval, as all 3 of them are. And this one's for the Old Dominion subdivision at 2818 West Parkway Boulevard. And basically, this is a This is a project that would move forward. It's over there by where the bus park, the Granite School bus park is right now. Thanks to Nicole. I'll take a look here and see if there's anything else that's pertinent to the discussion. It's a 2-lot subdivision, and we're ready to move forward with that if you are.
Okay, thank you. And knowing it also had unanimous planning commission backing as well. And council members, what's your pleasure here?
You know, we had a good discussion on this last week in the study meeting, pulled out the maps, and I think we're ready for the, and I will move for approval of application S7 2013.
Second.
Okay, thank you all. And Sherry, in case you missed that second, it was Steve.
That's right.
Okay.
Pick your favorite.
Pick your favorite. All right, so what?
Must have been in stereo.
It was.
It's in harmony too.
All right, we have a motion, there's some resounding seconds. Second by Steve. And any discussion on this one?
Mayor, if I could, now that I have my notes back, I would like to make a further comment, which is we really support this. This is a good example of economic development here within the city, that the Old Dominion subdivision, or located within the Old Dominion subdivision. We're looking at an addition and shop and repair facility and expansion of that business there on the site, and we're glad to see that happen.
Okay, thank you. And we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Staff or otherwise? All right, then I'll call a question. All in favor of approving S-7? We're still on 7, aren't we? Okay, click the wrong one. S-7-2013. Say aye.
Aye.
And that's also unanimous. Now for S-10-2013.
Thanks, sir. So this is final plat approval for the Wyatt Acres subdivision. We're looking at 7 lots on 2.24 acres. And we're, this property was recently rezoned from A to R18. The lots are all within excess of 10,000 square feet. Should be a nice subdivision. The average overall is estimated at 11,815 square feet.
Thank you. Council?
Mayor, I move for approval of application S1013.
Thank you.
Second.
And you. Any discussion on this one?
I'll just throw in case you wanted it. This is one of those pieces that all parties involved, from the applicant to the city staff, did an excellent job in dealing with the tightness of the intersection at 64 and 31, getting good sized quality lots that are somewhat symmetrical and not crazy in nature, and having a nice little 7-lot thing. I mean, I think my first thought was, oh, I hate to continue the fence luge on 3100 South, but boy, there was all things considered, it's even getting into very dreamy dreamland. This is the best solution and the best thing moving forward for this neighborhood and for the city.
Thank you. Dreamy, dreamy dreamland.
I can't dream of any other really thing that could be done in this. So let's move forward.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor of S-10-2013, say aye.
Aye.
That also appears to be unanimous. S-11-2013.
Thank you, sir. This is the third final plat approval, and this is a project called the Highbury Minor Subdivision, which the council spent quite a bit of time in the past actually looking at and working with the developer there in terms of defining how this property would be set up. And basically we're looking at zoning of R18, RM, and M zones. Lot 1 would consist of 13 acres, is where the new Castle apartment project would be located. Lot 2 is 3.4 acres, and most likely will be developed in the future as commercial property. And Lot 3, 12.9 acres, will be developed in the future as a residential use. That's the R18 piece.
Okay, thank you. And council, I noticed Dwayne Rasmussen with Castlewood's here today. showing his interest and support of this project. And if there's any questions, we can obviously query him. Any motions on this one?
Mayor, I would move approval of application S11, 2013.
Second.
Okay, thank you both. Any discussion on this one?
Just say that, you know, my I guess quick support on this really comes from the fact that this piece, when it came through the various processes, I think the staff, the planning commission, as well as the city council really ran it through the ringer on what this unique parcel should look like. And you know, there was things we didn't like about it, things we liked about it, and it really went through the grinder and came out, I think, with a very quality and an acceptable proposal that I'm glad to see it's back and moving down the pipe.
Great. Thank you. Other comments? Okay, all in favor of approval of S-11-2013, say aye.
Aye.
Any who oppose? Okay, that was unanimous. Congratulations. Any need for executive session tonight, Mr. Pyler, or anyone else?
No, sir, thanks.
Okay, then we can move to 12, which is to adjourn.